the belief is that the writer of Hebrews wanted to that he chose this word to, when he says an exact representation, to even further make the point or emphasize just how alike, or again, the exact representation of the nature of God. So again, there's no mistake, and not to say that the image of the invisible God or the image of God is not sufficient to make the point, but that in choosing to use exact representation here, that he is further specifying and further emphasizing the uniqueness of Christ being the exact representation of the nature of the Father. Now, with that said, since I did just bring up Colossians 1:15, Colossians also is the other passage that you want to keep in mind in dealing with the divine nature of Jesus Christ. Notice, he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. So those three texts, not saying you can't use other texts to point out that Jesus Christ is God, but those three primary texts that are used, and notice each one is in chapter 1. So John chapter 1, Hebrews chapter 1, and then here Colossians chapter 1. Some maybe even put, I would say, 1 John chapter 1. But we see the point that, and notice our application point, Christian must understand that Jesus is God. Colossians chapter 2, verse 9, for in him all the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form. And we're making the point again that we see this unity of the Father and the Son. We see this again, what the Father is, so the Son is. We see this being firm also in the gospel, going back to John chapter 14, verse 10. Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own initiative, but the Father abiding in me does his work. And I should have read verse 9 also. I'm sorry. John chapter 14, verses 9 and 10. Jesus said unto him, have I been so long with you, and yet you have not come to me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, show us the Father? So that's John chapter 14, verses 9 and 10. And Jesus' point is obvious there. Hey, listen, when you ask to see the Father, what you would expect to see from the Father, or what you are expecting of the Father, and who the Father is, know that as the Father is God, so I am God. Although there is this distinction of persons, there is not this distinction in nature. They have the same nature. So Jesus can say, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father.